This is such a big thing, right?
Thank you.
Come on, Jim. Good morning, Colin.
Morning.
Thank you very much for coming on the show. Fantastic. Thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for-
I wanted to be kind of businesslike.
Can I see the other girl?
Hello and welcome to Qatar's first sports podcast, In the Game. I'm your host, Steve Mackey, and we can't wait to introduce you to everything that is sports here in Qatar and afar. We're going to be bringing you personalities, company owners, institutions, individuals that are making a real difference. So, with us, enjoy the journey.
It's fun, man. Sports is fun.
Hello and welcome to In the Game, Qatar's first sports podcast. We have another Qatar sports tech cohort on the show today, and it's my pleasure to introduce Serdar. Serdar, do you want to tell us about your concept, your sports analytics, please?
Sure. I mean, we are we started the journey in 2013. It was a research project in the university where I was teaching big data and data science. And we built an optical tracking tool for football game to track the players and generate real-time data. So, and this it started as a research project and turns into a business. And the product is in commercial use back in 2013 in Syria, France, Turkey, etc. So it's in use more than 2,500 games. And recently the use of data is two sense. Once it's used for improving the performance of the players, and the second, and which is I'm very fascinated on, is to predict the injuries, because injuries are one of the main problems in the sports, in the professional football especially. It's obviously it's a health issue, but it's also there's an economical aspect. So I think we need to predict the injuries, better predictions, etc. So in the last 4 years, we spent developing some artificial intelligence tools and models to improve the predictions of the injuries with purely optical tracking data. And we come to an asymptotic level. So the more we improve, we get slight improvements on the predictions. So we think that we need to change our paradigm. And that's why we work on a wearable technologies, so EMG sensors. So with the EMG sensors, even we got one per week measurement from the muscles of the players, then our predictions goes a radical improvement in the quality. So that's where we are now, and we are testing this wearable technology in combination with the optical tracking in 4 Istanbul clubs, the biggest Istanbul clubs or biggest Turkish clubs. And based on this lead users' feedback, we want to commercialize this solution starting from the next season.
That is incredible. And I'm just going to go over some things. I know that there's going to be a lot of people out there, this AI, artificial intelligence. How did you get involved in this? It's like, I know that years ago people were talking about it, but nobody really knew how to utilize it. How did it become such a big part of what you're doing right now?
I mean, to be frank, I lived the winter of AI in the late 90s as well. I mean, the late 90s, the neural networks was coming as a big thing, etc. And I was wasting my time to make some predictions, some other areas, not sports, but in telco and the scientific stuff. But at that time, it didn't work. And the reason why now it works is basically the computation power and the availability of large data sets through the internet. So CPU and GPU powers are now much faster than 90s. And also there are tons of data sets tagged by people. You know, when you upload your photo to Facebook, you are in fact tagging a data set. So this makes a radical change. And we are spending on the data in the last 7 years. Within this period, we are seeing the improvements of the libraries, open source models that are available. Now it's just the discussion is a matter of how large your data set is and how much time you have to work on it. So everything becomes predictable now.
I love the idea. You said that you started this as a research. You were doing this as a research kind of project, and then all of a sudden you could see when was the light bulb moment where you could see it could turn into a business?
This is a good question. In fact, I played basketball, I coached basketball, and it was always I was working on basketball side, and we made our initial prototypes in basketball. But once we go to make a proof of concept to a live game, we went to the broadcaster, beIN Sports Turkey, to get authorization to put a camera into a basketball game. And there our colleagues said that, guys, okay, we appreciate what you are doing, but why you are not doing for football? Football is a big business, and we are looking for solutions for that. And at that moment, we think, okay, why not going to the football? And we just switched the gears with this input. And thanks to beIN Sports, they contribute a lot to our research and the productization process. It was a very test-intensive process, so they help a lot, and with their support, we had a product.
I suppose with beIN Sports, you had the opportunity of making it really go really well, or it could have been a disaster. Did you feel that pressure with that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I can't say now, I guess, because time passed, but in one of our first demo was in a springtime, like early May in 2013, I guess. And we invited all the people from the beIN Sports to showing that we are tracking the game. It was a hell of stress because, it was our first time we are doing a live demo. And I was coding, I was bug fixing in the stadium right before the demo. So it was a big challenge and big stress. Finally, it worked. At least we showed that we can track the players. So it was in just end of the previous season. So we had 3 months to work on the optimization, and then with the new season we start commercially in use. So it was a big stress, obviously, but big opportunity as well.
And how did you? It's like the stress. Did it give you sleepless nights sometimes?
I mean, I had a lot of sleepless nights.
They're not easy, right? They're not easy, but
because football is, it's by nature it's a game. It's nothing serious. I mean, if you look at that way, I mean, it's not a heart surgery or whatever. In that sense, it's not very serious. But on the other hand, it's from the broadcaster perspective, it's the only. I mean, they have one job, and to make a live show flawless. So whatever you do, it happens during the game, and whatever data you generate, you should generate real time with everything should work smoothly, and there is no way to undo. So that's why to work on the football ecosystem is a little bit stress. I can say that.
And to be quite honest with you, you seem like you're a little bit crazy, because all of a sudden, let's just track the players for now. So you were doing that quite successfully. And then all of a sudden you decide that you can pick up pointers where you can see where a player could get injured. Why would you go into that depth? And how do you gauge all those things?
I mean, to be honest, our original idea was not the injury prevention. Our original idea was, to digitize the sports and to implement AI. And we think that we can implement some coaching support as a coaching support tool, make a decision support tool for the coach. That was our original idea. But our first customers, we got it from Serie A, from Italy. And, the Italian football is very physical. Yeah. And especially Milan teams, Inter and Milan, AC Milan, they are very well known to use the players, till late 30s, even 40 years old players. So there's a strong ecosystem over there for recovery of the players, application of lots of data, and to prevent injuries. So that's where we learned the importance of injury prevention, and first importance, and second, it's feasibility. We can do it. We could do it to some extent. So that makes us very motivated, because the muscles are muscles. There is nothing to do. It's science. So there is no randomness whereas in football, in the performance side, you have always this performance, and football is a rare events game. So you don't. It's very hard to predict a goal or a score, etc. But injuries and muscle-related activities are somehow predictable. So we want to focus on that area.
And how does your system pick up these things? Is there cameras around, or is there how do you do this player injury prevention?
So it's a 2-camera we put on the next to the main camera of the. So it's 2-camera covering the entire pitch, and we are processing the image processing on a laptop. So there is nothing going to the cloud or etc. Everything is done on locally in terms of image processing, and we track the players. And when we say we track the players, we position the players 25 times per second on the pitch. And this is our raw data. And from this raw data, you can extrapolate, you can calculate many different variables like number of sprints, high speed, maximum speed intervals, high intensity runs, workload ratios, the work-rest ratios, etc. This kind of physical data, we generate metabolic power with the possession of the ball, when you have the ball, when the opponent has the ball, etc. So it's around 240 different parameters that we extract. So
240.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So this is the first step. Then the second step is to label the injuries. So we are labeling constantly all the injuries. We are talking to the team doctors and try to understand as much as possible the cause of the injuries, or at least the level of the injuries. When I say injury, when there's a substitution or the player doesn't continue the game, we call the team doctors. And then we are seeing among these 250 parameters, which one leads to the potential injuries. So this is where we implement deep learning, the AI tool that we are working on. So with this labeled data and the massive amount of data, we see the significant, important parameters that could lead to the injuries.
Okay. And I'm sorry to interrupt you there, because I'm just trying to get everybody to see if I've got the thinking right. So what you're taking a kind of film of the players that are playing. You've had one player that's come off for an injury. Maybe it's his calf muscle. And what you can do is that gets reported back to the doctor, to you, so that you could look at the movements that he had that could have caused that injury. And then what you do is you can then study other players in the way that they're doing it, to look up and say, hey, listen, if you keep on doing it that way, you're going to suffer from this type of injury. Am I correct?
Almost 100% correct. One thing is one slight difference is it's not only for the other players, but for the players itself that we have the injury record. If we have the history of the injuries of the player, obviously our prediction works much better for him in the coming games. So we use the previously learned data set. It's a continuously learning mechanism, and we apply real time in the game that he's playing. So we are giving to the coaching staff a recommendation saying that, look, this number 10 looks like his injury risk is above a certain threshold. You may consider him to substitute, or you can say to him that cool down a little bit, etc. This is during the game. And post-game also we are delivering with some tests, some training plans, of personalized individual training plans if the players is above a certain threshold.
I think that's it, and I've just wrote that down. Is it from a learning perspective where you could have videos that kind of that go out to different football teams to say, hey, listen, you can see this player, he's turning too quickly or he's not turning correctly, and that's what's causing his Achilles. So you've got to consider that when you may be doing the same type of movements.
I mean, we are using our own camera, which captures entire pitch. And these cameras are not, the resolution of the cameras is 4K. It's high, but when you look at on a very large pitch with two tiny cameras, we don't see the details as much as broadcast camera. So that's why we stick on the physical parameters.
Yeah, I get you. It's a phenomenal thing that you're doing. And as you said, you were doing one job one day, and then you all of a sudden a light bulb moment comes off, and then you take it in a totally different thing where you could be helping thousands of different footballers get an extension to their careers, maybe they're not going to be retired because of injury. How is it being embraced in the marketplace right now? Have you got it out in clubs that you're doing this actually now?
Yeah, we are using for several years, and it's very well received. I mean, obviously, it was at the beginning. It was a little bit difficult to convince the people. Sports people, they are not big fans of data and artificial intelligence. But now it changed. Now they are a little bit more fan than usual. But as long as we prove that we can help the players, players love that. That's important, because a club organization, if it's not it's 100%, it's an organization that helps. Their only motivation is to keep the motivation of the players. And once the players, they say that yes, it looks like it gives results. We are having less injuries or less severe injuries, etc. Then and the word of mouth among the players, everything is spread so quickly. So the barrier suddenly lowered down. So that's what we realize. And in our customers that we are working now, the Istanbul clubs that we are working, there are players now playing till 39, 40 years old, etc. That was not the case 10 years ago. 10 years ago, maximum you can see 34, 35 years old and you are retired. Now we can see the 39, 40s. It's not only because what we are doing, obviously, all the ecosystem is improved. The medical stuffs are improved, the diagnostic tools and sports science is improved, etc. But we are one of the players of this ecosystem, and I'm very proud of, in that sense, what we are doing. We can see the output. I mean, 4 years of extension of a football player's life. Football life is
everything. Everything. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Just imagine those players, and we're going into a stage where mental health is a big issue, right? And from dealing with different things may have been injuries is a perfect thing where they may suffer from an injury in there. But you're going to be able to kind of complement this to try and improve that chance of not getting the injuries, but also extend their playing career is phenomenal. Did you ever think for 1 second, when you were doing just the data of the play in one camera, nothing else, just tracking the analytics, did you think you'd ever get to this stage?
No, we never think at the beginning on that one. At the beginning, our idea was to, my dream when we start, and it's still my dream, is to make a AI coach versus real coach basketball game. So like Kasparov, Deep Blue games, etc., to apply data science as a replacement to the coach. But when we jump into the problem, into the details, etc., we see that there are lots of unsolved problems. I mean, you know, for us, the AI coach is a North Star. So it guides us towards the direction. But while we are going on that direction, we are seeing lots of unsolved problems. One of them is injury prevention, and it's the most exciting one. And to solve that one is very motivating. And without going into the water or into the journey, we can't discover that problem. We discovered during the journey.
I think with this, in being my age, 54, and if I'm trying to imagine myself, it's like technology is a scary thing, but this could actually, oh my word, this could just make you get to that next level. It's like this, having this kind of information that you're providing and the skills of that coach is going to be phenomenal. It's like, it's going to have such a massive effect on the game.
Yeah, I mean, totally agree. I mean, because this, the last 4 or 5 years of the extended career of the players is really important, because these guys, they are in best period. They know the game. They know how to position on the pitch, how to pass. They want to lead the team. They are organizing the team, so they are mature enough on that sense. They are relatively lower cost. I mean, compared to their 20s, when you are 35, you are not so expensive. So if the team has such players, then the entire quality of the game is improved. We see that many times. And there's also one very important area which is also making us very motivated. We are talking about the elite players. They come to a certain level, but there are some kids, they never had a career because of injuries when they have 16, 17, etc. So if we lower the application of sports science and the data to the academies, and if we prevent the injuries, then there's also an impact on the talent recovery, or to do not lose the talents otherwise lost due to a basic injury. So this is also motivating for us.
AI and this technology, and analytics, most people would run away from, because it's so far out their comfort zone. But this one is I was always, I'm going to say, I was always scared of it. Or it was difficult to embrace. Once you embraced it, it was much better. And once people do start embracing this and realize this is just the tip of the iceberg with you, right? Because there's so much stuff that you can program into this AI analytic type thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, general intelligence is something else. It's also coming, but it's a speculative area. But artificial intelligence applied to a specific problem, I think it's already on the it's on in our daily life, and it helps our lives. So
you're the founder of this, am I correct? And the CEO.
Yes. Yeah.
So you're from a technical background.
Yes.
What was it like having to come into the business side, and what was it like to find investment to get your dream keep going?
I mean, it was also. I had always a two parallel career. One is on the technical side, so as an engineer, working on the mainly IT and ICT communication industries, and also I have a sports career. I was always. When I was 6, I started swimming and then basketball, and I spent almost entire of my life in practicing either sports or coaching, or I was also in some period of time writing articles on the national papers, etc. So these were two pillars of my life. And to convert, it was easy for me to work on the industry because I knew the sports industry in general, but my network was on the basketball community, not in the football community. So that part was a little bit challenged, but otherwise I knew the market. So, but I have nothing to do. I knew nothing about the the investors, the ecosystem, etc. But the accelerator's job is very important in that sense. QST is doing phenomenal job in that domain because sports. There are very few sports tech focused accelerator worldwide, and QST is filling this gap, and it looks like it's it provides all the necessary tools that a technical co-founder needs to launch a business. So I think accelerators has an important value on that area.
You've taken my next question away. QST, I love QST because of people like yourself. Their whole life has been involved in sports. And they've just got such a love for it. They go on and do things like you do. Qatar Sports Tech is that platform, as you said, that gives so many different opportunities, and they can actually change people's lives. And with your concept, I think that this is going to happen in yours. You're already with beIN Sports. And I think it's just a matter of time before you take this to everywhere you want to go. I think the globe, it's global. Without a shadow of a doubt, this is going to be phenomenal. What was it for you when you found out that you were going to be partaking in the QST?
We had a very solid objective to be part of the program because, as I said, this wearable technology that we are developing is on still R&D phase, and we have to validate the measurements. And Aspire Academy in Doha is one of the global center of excellence in that term. So our objective is to partner with Aspire on that area, and also we want to test our product in the academy levels with the Aspire infrastructure. Second thing is QCRI. It's a research institute in Qatar. It's very well specialized in artificial intelligence. We are already in contact with some researchers over there. They are working on smart cities as a general to apply artificial intelligence on the smart cities problems, but stadiums and the fan engagement and all this infrastructure is also a smart city problem. And what we are doing is also could be used for we are in one sense we are making the stadium smarter. So we collect the location of the players, etc., on real time. So there are several use cases of that. So for us, the QST was really a target to be part of the journey, and so far it's going above our expectations. So it's going very well. They put us into contact with all potential partners that we are willing to meet.
I think it's going to be phenomenal for you, and I really do wish you the best of luck. I think you've got something that again is going to be such an advantage for the industry of football, not just football. I think it's going to go across multiple sports. I congratulate you. I've got to thank you as well for coming on the show today, because you've got a phenomenal story. I love the story, especially when you didn't realize what you had until that all of a sudden it clicked. I wish you every success. I know that our listeners are going to love the story and all about the artificial intelligence and how you've integrated it into something that you were doing. It gives them belief, whatever they're doing it, but it gives them the belief to look up and say, hey, listen, we've got to take this seriously. We've got to get involved in this because it could be the difference in our business going forward. So thanks for coming on to share those things with us. I hope you've enjoyed the experience, and I wish you every success in the future.
Thank you, Steve. It was a really fun to discuss with you. I thank you for your time. It was a pleasure for me. Thank you.
It was brilliant. Thank you so much. And everybody, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. It gave me a lot to think about. And going forward, I just embrace it. AI is going to be here to stay. And it's just going to improve life. It's going to enhance people's lives in ways that we can't imagine. Just like Serdar, he's imagined how he's going to be making a big difference when it comes to the careers of footballers. So everybody, thanks for listening. Until next time, bye for now.
Everyone, thank you for listening. Please send us your feedback on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And don't forget to review us on your favorite podcast app.